I'm a person in long-term recovery, which means today I haven't found it necessary to use a cigarette.
And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder.
Okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months, getting half a cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, you showed up.
That thing has changed. That's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about change. Is it anybody, give me a show of hands, anybody that have attempted to make some kind of change in their life? A lot of us. What happened? What happened? Why it didn't materialize? Because we didn't have what? Give me some answers, talk to me. Why you couldn't make a change in your life? Discipline. Somebody said discipline? Yeah, discipline. Dedication. Damn, I like that one. Patience. Huh? Structure. Damn, I like that one. You know? Hey, this is what y'all get in here. Y'all get structure in here. You get structure in here, you know? Today, when I talk about recovery, I ain't just talking about recovering from drugs or alcohol. I'm talking about recovering from anything that you don't want to do. Anything that you don't want to do. You got to have some kind of structure. Because the next question is, do you want to be in jail for the rest of your life? You know what I'm saying? You know, the thing about it is, we leave a place like this and we go somewhere else. And we see people that sit in these same seats and answer that same question. 55, 60, 65, 70 years old, doing time. You know, doing time, man. We got a speaker tonight, man. Now, our speaker tonight was saying how he first got arrested. He didn't know it was a life sentence. You know what I mean? He didn't know it was a life sentence. If we don't change what we do, if we don't change what we do, it can become a life sentence. I'm so grateful that I changed, man. When I talk about, you know, putting down drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, and then I talk about not going to the penitentiary for 35 years, I'm grateful that I put it down. It was a no-brainer. When you look at it, like, it was a no-brainer. Best time of my life. Best time of my life, you know? And I'm having a flashback, you know, from last night. Yeah, keep it clean. I'm having a flashback. But, yeah, he said, free myself. You know, the thing about it, man, is that we talk about change, you know, and in talking about change, I always like to go to that definition that stands out there for recovery. And what resonates with me is called health and wellness. Learning, striving to reach your potential. I can tell you right now, none of y'all have reached your potential. None of y'all have reached your potential. You got a ways to go. And I just want to stop right here, man, to give a shout out to Steve. Shout out to Steve. And I know some of y'all noticed it, man. John's not here. Art's not here. Pam's not here. Sheriff Gregory's not here. And this thing has continued to go on. This thing has continued to move forward. You know, we got people, man, that can step in when somebody's at, what they call it, next man up, next man up. Steve had no idea about electrical stuff when he first got here. Art had no idea. Art learned from somebody else, and Art trained Steve. And it was a question of, well, could Steve set up everything when we come here? And y'all hear me, man, it's set up. Steve is set up. You know, the take from this is, man, there's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things you can do besides sitting here and acting like you the coolest man in the world. There's a lot of things that you can do. You got to look, man. You got to look, man. You got to figure some stuff out, man. You know, I figured out some stuff, man. You know, I didn't need, I tell you, when I am who I am, right? I ain't had no drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, none of that for 34 and a half years. I'm still funny sometimes. I'm still humorous sometimes. I'm still crazy sometimes. I'm still smart sometimes. I still like to have fun sometimes. I'm still a good father. I'm still a good grandfather. I don't need no drugs to make me be who I am. I went through the process of finding out who and what I am. Me and my wife still tell each other a good joke every day. We still tell each other a good joke. I like to laugh every now and then. I got Sirius FM radio so I can listen to the Kevin Hart station. You know? Man, I like that. I like participating in that. You know, I've heard going way back, some people need alcohol so they can get courage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to holler at her, but I'm scared. I want to holler at her, but I'm scared. Let me get a drink. Let me get a drink. That'll give me some nerves. You know? Went through that. Wore that t-shirt. I done learned how to do things that I want to do. I done learned how to work through fear of how people see me or what people think about me and all of that. I done worked through that kind of stuff, man. You know? And I like what she said about being involved with a structured program. I heard somebody say the other day, we don't get nowhere in life by ourselves. We get nowhere in life by ourselves. We got to have some help, man. You know, in the statement I made earlier, I hope you don't be 60, 65 years old still doing time before you figure that one out. Get some help, man, to do what it is that you want to do. You know, this thing about change, man, we want to talk about for a minute about self-motivation. Self-motivation. About motivating myself to do certain things. We can't leave here thinking that somebody's going to look out for us when we ain't looking out for ourselves. You know? Self-motivation. You got to be self-motivated. What we used to tell people in the program, man, don't call me after you done used. Call me before you use. Call me before you get yourself in deep trouble. Call me before you done went down there and pissed dirty with your PO. You got to have some self-motivation, man. This thing is about finding out who and what you are. You know, why you here. I tell you what, when I was incarcerated, man, I hated being around a whole lot of people. I hated that. Part of that is still in me. I love sometimes, man, being at home, doing things by myself, entertaining myself. Now you talk about, and I talked about 34 and a half years. Ask me when the last time I've been bored. Last time I was bored was probably 34 and a half years ago. That was the last time I was bored. Because I see this thing, and I see what's going on. I see it in McShin. I see it outside McShin. I see what it is that's going on, you know. And then when you stand from the outside and look at it, it looks crazy. It looks stupid for me to put my life on the line for a cigarette, a drink, or a drug. Put my life on the line. That to me tells me, damn, your life ain't worth nothing. If you putting your life on the line for that, because believe me now, believe me, I've been clean for 34 and a half years. I still put my life on the line for my family. I put my life on the line for my son, for my daughter, for my grandkids, and for my wife. You know, because for me, that's worth it. You know, that is worth it. That is some substance. I put my life on the line for people that got my back, that have been there for me, you know. But when you think about it, man, when you leave here, man, think about, man, some motivation, man. I mean, I tell you the same thing I told myself. I know I can do more than just do time, be an inmate. I know I can do more than that. Just gotta figure that out, man. Figure that out, and sometimes it ain't hard. It ain't hard to figure out, man, who and what you are. It's a process, but it ain't hard. Because that's who you are, you know? We got a speaker tonight, man. We got a speaker tonight. And I don't know a whole lot about Mike. I just met Mike, you know, outside. Me and Mike chopped it up a little bit outside. Me, Mike, and my friend Tony. We chopped it up outside, you know? And we understand that we are more alike than we are different, you know? Mike was like, man, y'all telling my story, you know? That's what happens here. That's what happens here. Everybody trying to do things to distinguish themselves, to be different, you know? And you still are more alike. You know, when we realize that, man, we can take another step, man. When we realize that we are like some people. Then we start to bring drugs and alcohol into it. We are like most addicts. We are like most alcoholics. The way that we respond to life, the way that we see life, and the seat that we sit in, and the perspective that we got, we are more alike. And I would say, I'm willing to bet my pinky toenail, my toenail, man, that the drugs and the alcohol got something to do with it. You know? It brings us to thinking alike, man. You know what I'm saying? And I know we can do better than that. I know we are more than that. You know? Now, I'm talking to the people that thinking like I'm thinking. The ones that don't think like I'm thinking, next year, I might see you in here again. And that's hard truths. That's hard fact. Some of us, if we don't change, we'll be back. And I want you to remember some of this stuff when you come back. You know? Because I ain't into that, oh, I told you so. I ain't into that. When I see you, when you come back, I'm still going to have some love for you. You know? Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe the light bulb hadn't went off yet. Maybe you still think I got it all together. You know? Maybe you still think I'm different. You know? The light bulb hadn't gone off yet. You know? Because that happens. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we got a speaker tonight, man, that he drove, man. He drove. I mean, some people, man, are still doing things to carry the message, man. We used to drive all up and down the East Coast to get high, to get some drugs. Now we driving all up and down the East Coast to carry the message. With that, man, I give you Mike. Come on, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Today? I don't know. I felt some type of way when they opened the door and they shut it behind me, right? It brought me back some memories of when they closed the door behind me some years ago, right? I was 18 years old and the judge gave me 15 years in penitentiary, right? Grew up in a neighborhood where drugs selling and drug dealing and drug using was predominantly all around, right? So I was a product of my own environment. I had some good parents, right? They taught me from right from wrong, right? What to do and what not to do. But I didn't even need them for me to look at what was around me and knew what was right and what was wrong. I decided I wanted to join and be a part of, right? How many of you can relate to want to be a part of, right? You know, the environment, right? When you ain't have nothing, or your friend, he wanted some new shoes, right? Today I got on some Jordans. Back then I couldn't afford Jordans, right? My parents did the best they could with what they had, right? But my clothes were clean, I had food on the table, but you know what? Instant gratification led me to make some decisions, right? Because I didn't want to work for what other folks had to get what I wanted. I wanted the easiest, softer way. So I made some decisions, and at a very young age, landed me in prison. Now at 18 years old, right, I had 2 children already. Now I can't be a father behind bars. Anybody can relate to that? Huh? Leaving your loved ones out there to fend for themselves. I'm in a relationship, but how can I take care of somebody behind bars? It was impossible. So she moved on. And guess who I was mad at? Her. I blamed her. Every time I'm running to the phone, anybody can relate to that? Right? Every time the phone opened up, I'm running to the phone trying to make a phone call to see what they were doing on the outside. But if I was worried about what was on the outside, I would have kept myself on. So I go through and I do that prison sentence. Now, I made 22 cents per hour on the road. Anybody ever been on the road game? Right? The job they give you in the jail. Anybody over here, any ladies ever been there before? Don't go. Don't go. So for 22 cents an hour, I worked on the side of the road cutting down trees, running through chippers, right? I do my time, I make parole, and I come home, and they offer me a job. And I think my first job coming home was like $3 and some change per hour. It's back in the early 90s, right? And I laughed at that. Here I am making 22 cents an hour, and I was grateful for making that 22 cents an hour because there was nobody sending me nothing in prison, right? Or jail. But I get home, and I'm able to start rebuilding, and I got my first check. I'll never forget it. It was like $150. Now, on the street, I can make $150 in a blink of an eye, right? But once again, I'm taking a chance on going back to prison with my life instead of me rethinking my plan. I had a master plan. See, you cannot fix the a solution. People throughout town were trying to give me solution. Michael, you need to go back to school. Michael, you need to stay away from these people. Mike, you need to stop going over to these places, right? And I wouldn't listen because guess what? I thought I could fix me. How many of y'all thought that too, right? How many of y'all keep repeating the same thing, getting the same solution? Same man. Where I'm from, that's called insanity. How many of y'all been back and forth in the jail before? Anybody? Are you tired? Are you tired? So let's do something different. Let's do something different. I came all the way from Norfolk, Virginia, all the way to Richmond, Virginia to go get some help, right? And then I had to home myself, come all the way to a homeless shelter, but a 12-step program where these people will teach me how to live, right? 35 years old, don't have an education, don't have a home, and I didn't take care of my kids. But through that process of being willing to allow somebody to teach me how to become a man, I was bored making children decisions. Y'all ever got paid, right? At the end of the week, y'all went and gave y'all money to the dope man. Anybody ever did that? Anybody? You work all week long just to give your money to the dope man down the end of the week. Anybody ever did that? And you don't think there's something wrong with us? Right? what? I can do more than just go to jail, right? I was able to go back and get my GED. I was able to go to college and get a college degree. I was able to go to the White House with a felony. Now, let me tell you something. If you ever visit the White House, right, and you got a felony, you're going to automatically be kind of scared when you walk through and the Secret Service people behind you, right, and you walk in there, right? But it was a blessing that I'm able to do that today. You can do the same thing. I graduated with honors, right? A criminal like me who never, ever finished school can turn around, right, and been in prison and did all these things and able to turn their life around and do something totally different. But it starts up in your mind. You got to be done with what you're doing. Because if you ain't done, if you decide you want to go back and hang with the old people in the old places and do the old things, ain't nothing going to change. You're going to end up right back here or worse. Or worse. See, right, I remember when I was leaving out of the prison, and I was real slick about it, and I said, hey, you'll never see me again. She said, you'll be back. Because my thinking hadn't changed. My behavior hadn't changed. And I ain't have a plan. Always going back to what I knew. Hoping and praying that something changed. Nothing changed. So while you're sitting in here right at this moment, think to yourself, what do you want to be? What you want out of life? All the things that you think that is impossible to do, you can do. You can undo what you are doing right now. Is it work? Hell yeah, it is. Is it going to take some effort on your part? Hell yeah, it will. Is it going to come overnight? No, it won't. The things that you're looking for out of life you can have, but necessary to get to those things. You got to rebuild, repurpose, and restructure your life. Rebuild, repurpose, and restructure your life in order for your life to change. Because everybody got a date when they're going to get released out of these doors. Prayerfully. Praying for you. But what are you going to do when you hit the door? The same thing? Are you still running around, hey, Bobby, can you come get me? Bobby probably the reason why you in here. I want you to think about this. I'm doing time where other people are living their life. You know, in a few chicks, I'm going on a cruise. In my school, my high school that I went to, that I never graduated from, all my childhood friends, 30 years, they've been out and they're doing a lot of productive things in their life, right? It's a pleasure that they asked me to come along because they want to hear what I've been doing and they be hearing about the things I've been doing out in the community. But what are you going to be doing in the next 10, 15 years of your life? Is it going to be kids? Or dead? Back here neither. These are the things that you need to sit here tonight and wonder what you want out of your life. How are you going to change your life? Thank you for allowing me to share.
We got any questions for Mike? We got any questions for Mike? Hey, Mike, I did want you to talk a little bit, man, about how it is now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, talk a little bit about that. We'll get to the questions in a couple of minutes. We still got time.
We got some time. All right, okay. Well, how it is now, right now, at this point in my life, right? Like I said, I had the opportunity to go back to school, right? Repurpose my life, right? The life is great. Life is great for me, right? Despite whatever's going on, right, in life, life is wonderful today, man. Right? I'm a licensed substance abuse counselor, right? Today I'm a peer specialist. I helped so many people in the community, man. I had a chance to speak at the College of William and Mary, right? And when I was sharing with the brothers, I said, when I was 18, I had that time, I did not know I was going to be serving a lifetime sentence. And what I mean by that, even though I had, did all this work in my life, in certain places, even today, I still cannot live. Certain jobs I still cannot have, right, because of the choice I made when I was a child. Now, with that, we have people on the outside working for us that make these changes possible for you and I so we can live and work in different jobs, right? So, but every time that somebody like myself come into facilities like this, we give them ammunition for them to say, hey, they don't deserve a second chance. How many of y'all think y'all deserve a second chance right now? How many of y'all really, in your heart, deserve it? Y'all think y'all need a second chance right now, right? What are you willing to do for that second chance? What are you willing to do? What? I can't hear you. What'd you say? Whatever it takes. Now, I did whatever it takes to get high. Anybody can recognize that? I did whatever I need to do to commit that crime, correct? Now, am I willing to do whatever it takes to change my life? Yes, sir. Right. So let me tell you on that journey, right? It didn't happen, I didn't have no joy. Look, check it out. I was in a room in the house, working in a nonprofit, making $250 every 2 weeks, right? And what happened is this. It's a blessing in the journey of change, right? The change what it took. I had to work for a nonprofit, making $250 every 2 weeks, right? I worked construction, right? And I did all these things, right? And so I caught the bus because I didn't have no driving license, caught the bus all the way to school. And from school, I had to walk all the way downtown Richmond and then catch the bus all the way over to the south side. I did that for 2 years. No car, no matter what the weather, I had to do this. I was focused on change because I remember what I had to do when I used to walk 5 or 6 miles when I ain't had no ride to get some dope because I ain't want to be dope sick. So if I was willing to do that for death, I also was willing to do this for change. Right? It's not going to be handed to you because I say I want change. It's not going to be handed to you, right? You got to work for it. Now, you got to come out with a mind running. Look, I'm going to leave those folks that mean me no good on the corner. We ain't better than, but guess what? I'm on a different wavelength right now. I'm on a different wavelength, right? I ain't got time to worry about what's in the streets because guess what? I'm on this side of the street now. And if you don't change that mindset, again, I'm going to reiterate, if you don't change your mindset, you're doomed to repeat the same action that got you here in the first place. No matter what you're dealing with right now, just because you're locked up here don't mean I got to be locked up here. Up here. If you're trying to get back to your family, if you're trying to get back to your kids, you got to work for that. Right? How many of us then made those solemn oath promises? I ain't gonna never get in trouble again. I'm gonna be there for you. Anybody did that to their family? Said that to their families? I know I did, right? How that work out for you? It didn't. It didn't. Right? So I think right now our families are tired of us talking. Change is actions. It's an action word, right? And if you love yourself, right? How many of y'all love yourself today? If you love yourself as you say you do, then where you at right now shouldn't be here where you at next year, right? It should be something totally different. Whatever. I'm talking up here, right? We need to make a change, man, and to start upstairs, right? And we really, really need to make that change. I'm going to stress that to you because what I'm saying to you is we got to have a plan. Write it down on paper. Get with some mentors in here that got your best interests at heart, that can be able to guide you, right? It's programs that are waiting for you when you get out so you can have somewhere positive to go. If you ain't got a place to go, there's programs out here waiting for you. There's monies out here waiting for you to put you somewhere safe and get you with some people that are going to help you repurpose your life. It's not the end. Whatever you're dealing with. I did it all. Any questions? Any?
Hit me up, Steve. Yeah, any questions for Mike? I'd like to just do a little recap. You know, it's a couple of things that Mike talked about. Rebuilding. I like that word. And I like the fact that you don't have to grab a whole conversation, a whole paragraph. Sometimes just grab one word, you know. Out of everything that he said today, man, the rebuilding stuck with me, right? What else stuck with me, words-wise, was surrendering. And what else stuck with me was purpose. Purpose, man. You know? Yes.
I did. God is in it. My son was 15 years old, and I was sleeping on his mother's couch because I had nowhere to go. And he said, "Dad, you need to get your shit together." Yeah, straight up like that, a 15-year-old child, right? And so, you know, another person that I used with told me about a program in Richmond, Virginia, so I came here. Now, a year later into this program, right, on my brother's birthday, my brother called me and told me, he said, "Hey, man, your son was murdered at 16. So that was my purpose for not only getting clean, but staying clean. I just buried his mother this past December. So, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's a clap. That's a clap. Yeah.
Did you know God before you decided to get clean?
Did I know God before I got clean? I knew of God, right? I knew of God. Drug addiction, it brought me closer to God to have that one-on-one relationship with Him, right? See, I knew about my mother's God, my grandmother's God. I knew everybody else's God besides my own, right? It's like somebody saying, "You know Jay-Z?" Right? And most people are like, "Oh, I know Jay-Z." You don't know Jay-Z. You heard of Jay-Z, but you don't have a relationship with him, right? So the same thing with God, with me, right? I knew of God, but didn't have a relationship with God. But because of the things I've been through in life, right, that my addiction and everything I've been through, it brought me closer to God to have that relationship.
Anybody else? Wait a minute. I got you. I'm coming.
The PRS. All right, so I got the PRS on the back end, right? Because really, I have a degree. I have a degree in human service, and I have my substance abuse certification. I went to college, like I said. I got the PRS that worked more one-on-one with the peers versus me sitting in the office with a, you know, reading out a book, right? So I wanted to get more work one-on-one, more with my brothers and my sisters. So I got my PRS. The PRS took a 72-hour training course. You have to have a GED or a high school education, and you need 500 hours of supervision to be able to get your PRS.
Yes. It's on. Go ahead, talk it.
Hello? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm from Ohio, and I had like a release plan. Well, now it's like crashed. So I don't have anyone here, no identification. So how would I go about getting out and getting in a program and getting help?
Do you have counselors here that help you with your discharge plan?
No, not that I know of.
Huh?
No? No, so
No, I
did,
need help on the outside because no one helps us in here.
oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
All right,
I didn't know
I'm okay. I get you. I get you. I get you.
Let me ask you, do y'all have, like reentry?
Say, tell me when you get released. Well, no, I need help get before I'm released because once I'm released, I'm going to be right back in the streets. And if I go straight back to the streets, I'm going exactly where I was before to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I don't know where to go about getting like identification.
OAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, they told me OAR said when you get released.
That's a
If
clap.
you got a problem, there's a solution to your problem, right? You just got to be willing to be patient and let make the first call, and we'll connect you with some other people, right? I might make 15 calls in a day to help people get connected with services, right?
I may get released very soon, and
Okay.
I did not want to go back to the streets.
I totally understand. I totally understand, but you don't have to go back to the street just because fear and faith can't live in the same household.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Okay.
Make the first call. He'll connect you with me, and I'll make sure that you get to where you need to be at.
Okay.
All right?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
Yeah, you got that. Hey,
Yeah, you got to connect to. See, there you go, right here.
yeah. Hey, yeah, that's ironic, man, because what I'm doing now is I'm doing my exam for recertification
Right.
for the CPRS,
Right.
and got some interesting stuff in there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Cultural competence, ethics. Somebody in the back got a. Yeah, you need a mic because everybody can't hear you. You can't. All right, come on, let's put it out there.
About 6 months ago, I was laying right back here, 50. Just turned 50 a few weeks ago. And I personally, and this is where I get in my own way, do not like NAA meetings. I don't like the mix.
Okay.
I don't like it. So maybe again, I'm just saying I get in my own way, but there's got to be another way to go about it.
Right, you just named two pathways. It's multiple pathways in recovery. It's multiple pathways. Right.
Did all of y'all hear her question?
Right. She said she don't like NA or AA, right? She don't like those two. That's not the only pathway in recovery, all right? So I mean, it's a common pathway. Self-help groups are a common pathway in recovery, but it's not the only thing out there, all right? There's smart recovery, there's Dharma recovery. It's so many different, ways. It's finding your own way. I understand.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, right, we don't like those type of self-help groups because I think I can fix me, and that's why that's why exactly why you here, right? You can't fix me.
That's exactly why you're
Right.
here. It's been by now it's been multiple studies done about recovery.
Right.
And these so-called experts, smart folks, and all that says that the best way for an individual to recover is through a 12-step program. And I'll tell you why. Because in a 12-step program, you do follow-up. And that's what we need. We need follow-up. I mean, what I did last week ain't gonna keep me clean today. I need follow-up.
I just said that. What you ate yesterday can't fulfill you today. So, of course, you got to keep coming back, right, to get rejuvenated in your recovery, right? So, please, give it a try again. Try it again. It's hundreds of meetings, and you'll find the right one for you that's going to be able to help you in your journey. That's my suggestion, because I couldn't fix me. I thought me into a homeless shelter with a 12-step program. Say, I think I'm a genius. Right.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me just say this. You think he's a genius. Let me just say this. It's been proven that you cannot outsmart the disease of addiction. It's been proven. I mean, a lot of y'all don't even know about the 70s when James Brown made a song about the white horse. The white horse.
Cocaine.
Cocaine, heroin. You can't do it, man. I mean, research. Doctors were doing research on cocaine and heroin back in the 1800s. One doctor thought he could use cocaine to get relieve his addiction from heroin. Of course, you know he died trying.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? He died trying. But the idea behind all of this is to understand, man, how wide, broad, how bad addiction is. You know, addiction ain't no, man, it ain't no small task. It's challenging, and it's been like that for 100 years. So the individual that think he can outsmart this is why most of us are here now. We think we can outsmart it. It ain't gonna happen. Because I tell you what, I have seen dudes go to penitentiary, be in penitentiary for 4 years, was in there with me. They get out, you find them dead. Overdose, man. I was carrying the message to Henrico East Jail. They had 2 or 3 people that were there working, doing cleanup and cleaning the front and all that. Got out. Week later, they were dead. You know, you can't outsmart this thing, man. This thing is terrible. It's horrible.
I always say this in every speaking meeting, especially when dealing with addiction. Time don't equal recovery, but you need time to recover. It ain't gonna happen just because you're sitting in here. I can be here right now and get out and go use drugs if my mindset hadn't changed. I have a family member who did 24 years straight, and the day she get out, she go use. 24 years, I ain't say 24 months, I say 24 years. She got out and used. She doing 10 more years right now. So that altogether is 34 years of her life, and she's 55.
Yeah. You know, it's like using was more important than my life. My friend, me and Tony were talking when we were riding down here together. And Tony told me, he said, Marshall, you know so-and-so just got out. He said, I know he did. How much time did he do, Tony? 40, how many? 48 years. Woo. 48 years. You know? Now let's just say he was 18 when he went in there. You know what I'm saying? It's like 64 years old, man. That was a wake-up call for me when I went to the Virginia State Penitentiary back in the 70s. I mean, you see these dudes, man, every day that have done 25 and 30 years. Hey, y'all got a break, man. Y'all got a break in here. We call this the playground. This is called the playground right here. Go somewhere. You know, I heard him talking about how you see people running to the phone and doing all that. Go to one of these institutions where the phone is controlled by the gangs. The gang in there controls the phone.
Yes.
You know? And you can't make a phone call when you think it's bad here. You can't make a phone call when you want to. You got to pay to make a phone call. That's real stuff, man. That's real stuff. Hey, this at the playground right here. You know? Hey, there you know, a brother in there, man, and did 30 years. What do you care about you having to call your girl? Least of his concern. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like Mike was saying, this is a blessing. This is a blessing. Because it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. You know? And I mean, you know, that's just something to think about. What else I heard Mike talk about, man, when he was talking about purpose, man. Purpose, man. I have seen so many people, and I asked them, what's your purpose in life? And they could not tell me. I bet you I could go through here and take a survey and ask y'all the same question. What's your purpose in life? And a whole lot of people can't tell me what their purpose is. They don't know. My purpose is what? You think your purpose is to be a dope fiend. You know what I'm saying? That's what you know, you think your purpose is to be a dope fiend. And cause like Mike said, cause that's how you wired. That's how you thinking. And you gotta change that in order to change. Man, you know, I just gave out a couple of cards for Max Shin. I gave out a couple of cards for Max Shin. And man, the CEO of Max Shin is Honesty, who came in, went through the program. You know, hey man, got a hell of a story, man. Came in, went through the program, did like most of us did, went back to school, educated herself. What Maxine just did, Maxine opened a house for pregnant women or women with kids. Because that's a challenge for you to have a child 2 years old and you trying to recover. But this had been a lifelong dream of hers. And we saw it happen, you know. And I was like, man, when I heard about it, man, that thing touched my heart. Touched my heart for that to be happening. But I hear stories like that all the time. You know, I hear stories like that all the time where people have taken themselves to another level after they stop using. God ain't just blessed one individual for that. A lot of people can do that. You just got to do what they did. You can't short circuit the process. You know, life is a process. It's a beginning and an end, and there's a process in between. There's a process in between. Just give me a show of hands, everybody that know what their purpose in life is. Besides me.
I do.
All right. All right. Keep that up the forefront. You know what I'm saying? What it is. You know? I like that. Hey, man, let's give Mike a round of applause, man. He got a question. We're still taking questions.
I do. Matter of fact, I celebrate my 15-year anniversary next Monday at my home group. My clean date is June 6, 2008. I celebrate on the 19th at my home group. I am an active member. I sponsor people in recovery. My sponsees have sponsees, right? I'm active in the literature, right? And both fellowships. See, I can't give if I ain't got it, right? So I'm frequent AA, NA. I catch up on Dharma recovery. I'm versed in the different pathways. In order for me to help somebody, you got to be knowledgeable. The same knowledge I put in the streets trying to do wrong, right? The same knowledge I put into trying to do right. So yes, I am still active in my recovery, very much so.
That's a clap. Any more questions? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody. You need a mic. You need a mic.
I went to the Hilton Place in Richmond, Virginia, right?
Oh, yeah,
Southside,
yeah.
yep.
Hey,
Yep.
you know if he went to the Hilton Place, he a soldier.
Yes, I did.
Man.
It ain't easy.
No. The 30-day grind.
Yeah.
The 30-day grind at Healing Place.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You got a question? Oh.
We had a young lady on the end.
Okay. When I first heard about the Healing Place and I saw what was going on, I was like, man, that's a weed and seed program. Those that ain't serious,
Huh?
you don't want to, okay.
Should have stayed, man. Yeah.
They got one. They already got one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They got one. Any more questions? Any more questions? If not, man, let's give Mike another hand. Thank you, Mike, for keeping it real, because what I heard too was that somebody, and Mike, I say the same thing, man. It's like, I ain't been incarcerated, man, forever, but I still know what it feels like. Still know what it is, right? I haven't passed that torch yet. When I come in here and connect with y'all, most of y'all like in your 30s and 40s. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all in your 30s and 40s. And my hope is that you don't get where I've seen some people in their 30s and 40s. I hope you don't get to that point where you done lost hope. Where you done lost hope of things ever being different or things ever being better. And I know, just like he said, in order for that to happen, you're going to have to put some work in. Nobody get touched with a magic wand and it automatically changes your life. It's a process, man. I just made the statement from beginning to end. That's life, man. And it's a process because you know what? There are storms from beginning to end.
Yes,
you got to always, man, what they say, put out a fire. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope, man, that you started doing some of that while you're here. While you're here, you started doing some of that. It'll benefit you. Thank you. Glad y'all came. See y'all 2 weeks from now. JJ.